Pass the 40 pass the 40 cause my mother's not looking.
What's going on, everyone? Another Past the 40. This time our guest is Nicole Bogert. Nicole, how are we doing today?
I'm well. How are you?
I am well as well. Where are you joining us from?
I am joining you from my home in Connecticut.
In Connecticut. All right, so we're not that far. Another northeast connection here. How's the day in Connecticut going for you?
It's going. I'm working from home, but I took some time out to do this. But yeah, it's going well.
The millions of listeners and followers and watchers appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule for this. Are you ready for your 40 questions today?
I will do my best. I think I'm ready.
I think you're ready too. When you were a kid, what did you want to be when you grew up?
I wanted to be, I think all little girls wanted to be like an actress. And then I realized that I cannot act or keep a straight face to save my life. So I threw that idea right out the window.
So that didn't work out? That's not where you landed?
It did not work out at all. I totally went into a completely different field. Actually, funny story, I actually went to college to be a PE teacher. And when I could not run a mile, I realized that path was definitely not the path I needed to take either. So I went into communications.
You're a self-described data nerd. So what kind of data and how big of a nerd are we talking?
I mean, I'm pretty big. Where on the weekends I'll sit down with a glass of wine and create a viz, which is, yes, that's how nerdy I am. So I worked for very large companies for the past 10 to 15 years. So my main job function is to collect a lot of data and do a lot of data analysis, both finance and marketing. And this sounds really boring, but that's what I actually love it. I love to do it. I love to be able to kind of take data, manipulate it, and kind of output it for people to be able to read and comprehend instead of just looking at a bunch of numbers. So, yeah.
Like a true nerd.
True nerd.
Yeah, love it. If you could teach a high school class on any subject, what would it be?
Well, obviously, it wouldn't be PE.
Right.
We already established that. Probably, I think I answered this. Let me think about this. Probably what I do, because I do it pretty well. So when
being a good data nerd?
Yes.
It's an exciting class.
Yes, it's so exciting. I will make it fun.
Speaking about exciting, what are you most excited about right now?
What am I'm most excited about? Oh gosh. Let's see. I guess just life in general. I'm excited about life. I'm loving my life right now. I have a great life, and every day is an adventure with me and my family. So that's what keeps me going.
Love it. How many kids do you have?
I have 2.
If you can ensure that your kids had one experience that you had yourself, what would you want that to be?
The big thing for me growing up was always having a wonderful Christmas, a wonderful holiday. So I try to make sure that my kids' holidays are just as good as mine growing up. We do a lot of fun things, bake a lot, watch all the movies. For me, Christmas is that magical time, and it was always special in my household, and I loved it. I loved waking up that Christmas morning, and I just want that same experience for my children, because it was a blast for me.
How old are your kids?
5 and 7.
All right.
Going on 25.
Obviously. What is something that hangs on the wall in your home?
Oh, Lord. Like kid-wise?
It could be anything. Could be the picture above your head right now that I see in the video.
Yeah. So this actually is a really cool picture. I'm not sure if you can see it, but it was a picture that's actually from an artist named John Bramblett, who started to paint after he became blind. So he's completely blind. Yeah.
Wow.
And I saw an article on him, and I looked up his paintings, and I absolutely loved all the colors he uses. He actually paints colors based on the texture of the paint. So he is blind, and he makes the most beautiful paintings, and I fell in love with his artwork, and I have one of his paintings on my wall, and I really want to get more. So saving up for some more.
People are incredible.
Yes.
So you used to work at a small little company called ESPN, which I've heard of. What did you do there?
I did. I did a few things there. So when I first started off at ESPN, I started in the travel department as an administrative assistant. So what happened was, oh, 9/11 happened, and right after that, as I don't know if you remember, but kind of like the market everywhere just crashed, and it was so hard to find a job. I was a marketing communication major. That's what I went to school for. Nothing was coming down the pike. So a year later, November 2002, I had this opportunity to interview for an administrative assistant at ESPN. And I said, you know what? It's a foot in the door. Let me go for it. Got the job and worked my way around the company. I went to the IT department and actually wrote, because there's that computer programming background I also have, wrote, and then I made my way over to sales and marketing for Disney and ESPN. And I was there for a very long time, and started off as a coordinator, worked my way up to an analyst, and I was a senior analyst. But I had a lot of great opportunities there. It's a great company. It's a great company to work for, and have lots of stories.
I'm sure you do.
Yes.
Have you always been in Connecticut?
Always. Born and raised all my life, never left.
What's a great piece of advice you often like to give to people?
In general?
Yeah.
Well, I think the one piece of advice that I've noticed myself giving more often now, being 40 or 41, is don't take your younger years too seriously. I think we all get kind of caught up in our appearance and people's judgment of ourselves, and it doesn't matter at all. I always say the only person you have to spend the rest of your life with is yourself, and no other person's opinion of you should matter. So to me, it's just really getting that across, especially to my children. Don't let anybody bother you. Don't let anybody skew the way you judge yourself, and just kind of live life by your own terms, because you're the one who has to live with yourself the rest of your life.
Do you feel that you took your life too seriously when you were younger, or you did it the right way, or the way that you would tell other people to do it now?
I think there were times where other people's opinions of me really mattered, and looking back, I have no idea why, because now I don't really care. It's like you get older and you really, don't give a fuck, basically.
No doubt.
Or what other people think about you, and it's the truth. I really don't.
Yeah, I mean, I think we just become more comfortable with who we are, and then it doesn't matter what other people think we are.
It's true.
Who is your favorite stand-up comedian?
Oh, my favorite stand-up comedian. I like Mitch Hedberg, the late Mitch Hedberg.
R.I.P.
Yeah, I also was a very big fan of Dave Chappelle.
Mm-hmm. You say was, are you not any longer?
Well, I mean, from Chappelle Show days.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really follow that much anymore, but yeah, there's a few, but yeah, pretty much them.
Let's say you were going to a deserted island and had a 6 CD changer. For the younger crowd out there, CDs are little discs that used to play music for us, and you could only bring these 6 CDs for the rest of time. What would be in the changer?
Well, some of you may or may not know Phil Collins, because I just adore Phil Collins. Definitely, and they'd be all greatest hits CDs, so can't really pick a album. It would all be greatest hits. So Phil Collins, definitely Led Zeppelin, definitely Biggie. Boy, I've been listening to the Fugees, the old Fugees, because I really like Lauryn Hill. Bob Seger.
Okay.
Prince.
There you go.
Yeah.
Bang that 6. Yeah, you got 6 there. While we're on music and you brought it up, what's the deal with Phil Collins?
I don't know. I think the whole thing with Phil Collins is, I was big on Twitter, years past, and a lot of my Twitter friends were just like, I don't even know how it came up, but they were like, oh, his music is terrible. And I'm like, how could you even say that? His music is amazing. I love his music. And I'm sorry, he's a great artist. Genesis, solo, I love him. And so I just kind of went with that whole, I'm just going to stick with it. And he's awesome. And He is. And if you argue with me, I will shoot you right down because I'm telling you right now, he's amazing.
With corroborating evidence, you just stuck your flag on the Phil Collins corner, and you're not moving.
That's it. I'm not moving.
Let's say you had to go. Let's say you had to go on a road trip from Connecticut to El Paso, Texas, and you have to bring 3 people with you, and they can't be family members. Who's coming for the ride?
My friend Stacy. So she's just great. She's a wonderful friend, and I adore her. Definitely my friend Tate, who actually lives in Mississippi. We met online. I have a lot of great online friends that I've met, and we've met up when she lived in Philly. Now she lives in Mississippi, but I love her to pieces, and she's a great friend. So I would definitely bring her and Joe Biden.
It's a nice mix there. Let's say I asked Stacy, what are 3 words that she would use to describe you?
Gorgeous, funny, and humble.
Very nice. Let's say I asked her another question. I wanted her to fill in this sentence. I love Nicole. She is the greatest, but I wish she were a little less blank.
Oh, I was about to use a word that's definitely not politically correct. I wish you were a little less. I don't even know. What aggressive.
Yes? Are you aggressive?
Yeah. Yeah. But in a kind of like in a, I think, a fun way. If that makes any sense.
I could say so far I'm not feeling it, so we're doing all right here.
I'm holding back my aggression, unless you talk about Phil Collins.
You're doing a good job. Right, I try to ease into the things that I know you love. What you said you used to be an ex-pro cheerleader. Where, what team and when? What part of where were you in life where this happened?
So I actually cheered for a little company called Universal Cheerleaders Association. It's actually a pretty big company, which is they're the company that holds all of the cheerleading competitions in Florida. It used to be UCA, they are NCA. However, I did have, my college roommate was a Patriots cheerleader, and I actually have another good friend who was a Patriots cheerleader, and they asked me to try out back in the day when I was in college, and that's more dance, where I was more a cheerleader, the gymnastics, the stunts. So yeah, I actually taught some camps for 1 year, and then I got injured, so I had to stop.
Were you ever on one of those competitions that I used to watch on ESPN when I was 10 years old?
I was. I cheered for Southern Connecticut State University my freshman year, and we came in second in the all-girl competition. So
nice. What was the injury?
I was stunting when I was working, and I actually had to go on workman's comp when I was 18. They just put me up in it's called chair. It wasn't a big stunt at all, but what happened was the way I landed on the person's hand, it really screwed up my back, and I ended up just having really bad back problems.
Still to this day, or that's?
It's knock on wood. It's been okay, but I had to stop professionally cheerleading. I actually coached high school after that, which was better. And to this day, if you give me a trampoline or an open space, I'll still try to throw around a backhand spring, back tuck. I tried one last year. It was successful, but there was definitely a little bit of pain afterwards.
Right.
Not like it was when I was 20.
Not much is.
But I can still do it.
Yeah.
I can still do one.
Always pull out the old tricks. Love that.
Yeah.
What is something that you gave up on and wish you hadn't?
Cheerleading. No. I don't know. You see, that's such a hard question because I feel like everything happens for a reason, and there's really nothing that I gave up on that I didn't get led down another path that made me even more happy. So.
It's a positive way to look at things.
Yeah.
How did you celebrate your 21st birthday?
Oh, I could remember that. That was 20 years ago.
It's like a big event in people's lives.
21st birthday. Oh, probably don't even know. I don't even know.
How did you celebrate your 40th birthday?
Oh, okay. So I do know that because I was last year. I do remember that. My husband threw me a surprise birthday party with all my family,
Nice.
and it was really nice. It was really nice.
What do you
Very
comp-
different from when I was 21 because
Right.
I don't remember. Apparently, there was blacking out. So
Well, maybe it was exactly this, exactly the same. You don't remember it. So,
quite possibly.
what do you complain about more than anything else?
Oh gosh, this is where my husband would definitely be able to answer this because he thinks I always complain. What do I complain about? You know what I complain about the most right now is just the fact that, we just moved into my current house 2 years and there's just so much that still needs to get done. And I probably complain that it's not done yet. But that's it. Little minor stuff.
Whose fault is that?
His, totally. Absolutely. 100% his fault.
What's a skill that you want to acquire in the next 40 years of life?
I want to, the next 40 years, what skill do I want? I mean, could like a superpower actually, because I would like that.
You'd like to develop a superpower?
Yes, I would. It's been
It's a good
40
one.
years. That's pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
Like maybe invisible, if that's a skill. Read. I don't really want to read people's minds because I definitely don't want to know what people are thinking about me. I don't really care, but at the same time, I don't really need to know. I don't know. I always wanted to play an instrument. I always wanted to play a blues guitar, like a bass guitar or a blues guitar or guitar. I'd like to be able to play an instrument, but that's probably not going to happen.
I mean, one of mine has learned to play piano, so we can start a band in like the
We
next
could
10, like 20
totally,
years for
we could do a Phil Collins cover band.
for like older people.
Yes, really old people.
Phil Collins slash Biggie, because I can
Yeah.
pull the weight on that one, and you can pull the weight
Yes.
on the Phil Collins side of things. I think it's a hit here.
Okay, that would be an interesting music selection.
If you could live the life of a fictional character, who would it be?
Ah, probably that girl from 50 Shades of Grey, right?
I
I
didn't.
don't know.
I
No,
didn't.
that's totally not true. I wouldn't totally not do that. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I'm kind of happy with my life. But yeah, probably her.
What would you have for your last meal?
Yeah, something sweet. Probably a big brownie sundae with ice cream.
Well, that could be after the actual main thing.
Actually, brownie sundae doesn't have ice cream. So yeah, a brownie sundae.
Just dessert. You're going straight dessert. No,
Going straight to dessert.
no main meal.
Yes, no main meal.
If you had to think about the most terrifying moment of your life so far, what would it be?
Well, probably last week. Mm, Terrifying moment for me probably was when I had to give birth to my second child because she was coming pretty quickly and I needed a C-section. So it was a little crazy, but it ended up okay. So that was pretty terrifying though.
Both my kids were C-section, and the first one was not planned, and it was kind of a last minute, in the moment decision.
Yep.
Again, also worked out okay. Back to the Future or Karate Kid, which is better?
Oh gosh, these questions. Um, I don't know. See, I love Ralph Macchio, but I
Okay.
also love Michael J. Fox. I'm
Well,
gonna have to go with Back to the Future.
you can love them both. I mean, they're two classics for our generation. I love them both. That's just it's hard to make that type of decision between those two.
Yeah, Back to the Future.
I would
made it
agree.
my-
What's a quirk of yours that few people know about?
A quirk. Oh gosh, did I write all these down? You know what? I cannot keep a straight facial expression. So if someone says something, I usually kind of make a lot of movement with my face and I can't keep it still. And my boss knows right away when something irks me or bothers me. So my quirk is probably just constantly twisting my mouth and giving a side eye.
So you weren't great in like staring contests?
No, I would be terrible at a staring. I'm terrible at a staring contest.
When your kids turn 40, how do you want them to finish the sentence? The most important thing my mom taught me was blank.
Just to honestly, to be, and this is going to sound so cliche, but to just be yourself and not let anybody tell you how to be. Do your thing. You do you, basically.
No doubt. Do you have a celebrity crush?
Well, besides Joe Biden and Phil Collins,
Right.
I have a thing for, yes.
Besides
Um,
aforementioned people in this
yeah,
recording.
Larry David. Larry David.
All
Love
right.
Larry David.
New season of Curb coming soon.
Yeah, I don't know. Is it?
I mean, that seems to be the word, yeah.
Ah,
What's a piece of advice you would give to your 20-year-old self?
don't take life too serious. Don't take it seriously. Just keep doing what you're doing. Keep pushing. Don't let anybody bother you. Live your own life.
What are you great at?
I don't know if I'm consider myself great, but I think I'm really good at being a good friend and really kind of understanding people, all different people. I've met a lot of different types of people. I've actually met a lot of people online that have just kind of been drawn to me and we became friends. So making friends. I'm good at making friends.
That's a good thing. The internet is vast. There's a lot of quality out there amongst some of the other
Yes.
stuff that goes on. If you could relive a single day from your past exactly as it was the first time, what would you choose to experience all over again?
I want to say I would probably relive sometime on my honeymoon. It was before kids, so I didn't have to worry. I mean, it was a good time.
Where was it?
Curacao. Curacao?
Nice.
Yeah, we had a great time. I don't know. I don't know any one specific day that stood out in my life. I mean, my wedding was fun, but it was stressful.
All
But
right.
if I had, I probably would just go back on my honeymoon.
What was your marriage proposal like?
Oh, so this is a really cool story. At the time, ESPN had these really crazy holiday parties. It was ESPN the holiday party. It was at this very large banquet hall in Connecticut that had multiple rooms. There were thousands of people that actually attended. And my husband proposed to me right before we went in. It just started snowing. It was a beautiful moment where he proposed to me before going in. And the really cool thing was at this party at the time, Shaka Khan was performing. And before she came on stage, word got out that I was engaged. I just got engaged. So one of the directors of special events at the time actually got up on stage and announced our engagement in front of the whole company right before Shaka Khan performed. So I always like to joke around and say that Shaka Khan performed at my engagement.
She did. That's not a lie.
So yeah, good times.
What's a great compliment that you received that has always really stuck with you?
There's this one compliment that stuck with me. I was at Yankee Stadium, and some guy came up to me and said, and I usually hate this more than anything. I hate when people say, what you look like. It makes me cringe. But he said, you look just like Olivia Newton-John. And and the reason why this stuck with me is because when I was a little girl, I thought Olivia Newton-John was the most beautiful woman in the movie Xanadu.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I want to just get on roller skates and roller skate around with this big white, long, flowy dress and be her. That's how old I am. And he said, you look like Olivia Newton-John. And I was like, that is the greatest compliment I've ever heard in my entire life because I just wanted to be her so bad. And that made my day. So,
nice. Shout out to that guy, wherever he is.
Yeah, I have no idea who he is, but you made my life.
What are you afraid of?
The biggest thing, obviously, I'm afraid of, I think every parent is something happening to their child. That's probably my biggest fear. I don't really have any other kind of weird fears like bugs or darkness or anything like that, or heights. It doesn't really bother me. It's just the fear of loss, I guess.
Speaking of bugs, do you have like a bug pet right now? I saw on your Instagram
Yes.
recently.
Yeah, so my kids asked for a dog, and don't really want that kind of commitment right now. So my husband went in the backyard and found a praying mantis, and we have a praying mantis that we've had for quite some time now. I want to say about 4 months, and the thing is giant. And we have to buy it crickets and find bugs all over our yard to feed it, and the thing just will not stop eating. So yeah, we have a praying mantis, and I don't mind it. I don't hold it or anything, so I just kind of look at it.
Did you know how to care for a praying mantis? Like, is there a rule book here?
There's a rule book that you just feed it live bugs,
That's
and
it?
they eat bugs. Yes.
Do they
And
need water or sunlight, or like, where is it staying?
it stays. We have a little terrarium right next to. We have a little 10-gallon aquarium, little saltwater tank in our house with 2 little Nemo fish, and then we have this little terrarium right next to it with a praying mantis in it. It's just very small. Nothing that's oversized that people come in my house and they're like, wow, this is a weird bug lady. No. Very small, and then we'll go get it crickets, and it eats crickets. But I mean, I honestly I don't think it has that much longer. I don't think they live very long. So
If you had to live outside of North America permanently, where would you choose to live?
I don't know. Probably that's a tough one. Outside of North America, I'd say Italy.
What part?
I don't know. Maybe on the Amalfi Coast. Make it nice. We'll make it nice.
Not a bad life.
Yeah.
What is something or someone that most people love but you think is overrated?
Oh gosh, where do I begin? This list could take a while. Not a fan of Harry Potter. Not a fan of Drake. There's a lot. We'll start with those 2. Not a fan. Overrated.
Those would definitely fit into that category. Not that I'm familiar with either one of them that well, but I believe that they're definitely both overrated. What is a book that everyone should read? Obviously, Harry Potter is not your answer here.
No, it's not going to be my answer. A book everyone should read. The Bible.
I'm surprised other people haven't answered with that, because that not that I've ever am familiar with the Bible by any means, but like that it just makes a lot of sense as an answer to this question.
Yeah, it's funny because I think a lot of the times it's taboo to answer that. But, if you kind of really, I mean, and me, it's funny because I consider myself both a science person and a faith person, which you never really find too much of. But there's a lot of things that are written in there that is actually pretty comforting, especially when you're dealing with some hard things in your life. So I recommend it.
All right. Maybe I'll take a look one day.
One day.
What's a pet peeve of yours?
Oh, my biggest pet peeve, and I know this right off the bat,
Great.
is when I'm driving and someone pulls out in front of me and like cuts me off and then goes 2 miles an hour right in front of me. That's the worst. That's my biggest pet peeve is bad drivers. And I can't even talk because I'm a terrible driver, but other bad drivers besides me.
So you're a bad driver, but you hate bad drivers.
I hate other bad drivers. I could deal with myself. I'm actually a bad parker. I'm not a bad driver. I'm a terrible parker.
Like parallel parking.
No, like basically I
just
can't even
pulling into a spot
without hitting someone or something. Or
even when there are lines to direct you right into the spot.
It doesn't matter. And I'll tell you what, I got a brand new car and it has a backup camera. And now I actually like to back into spots because I can't even pull into spots. I can back in now because I can see everything. But
you just let the camera do the work.
I let the camera do the work. I'm a terrible parker. I've had to literally move my car on multiple occasions because I've dinged other people's cars.
Without leaving a note?
No, yeah. Come on. No.
Who is someone that should be a guest on this podcast?
Like an actual person or a famous person?
Famous people are actual people, but it can be either.
Who's over 40? I don't know. I don't know anybody over 40. Apparently all the people I hang out with are younger. Even my husband's younger than me. Um,
Keeps you young.
oh, yeah, no, I keep him young, believe it or not. He is like, he's definitely an old soul. I don't know. I don't know. That's a hard one. I don't know.
All right.
I don't. I
You can
can't
think
answer
about it. Get back to me. What is something that all 40-year-olds should do or try ASAP? A call to action for the 40-year-old set.
that. Learn how to use social media correctly.
And
Get off Facebook.
what is
Get off
correct? What does correctly mean?
Stop posting your life on Facebook. I don't want to read about your. I don't read it. It's not a diary. And sometimes I think people our age like to overshare.
So what is proper social media etiquette? So not Facebook, you're saying. So I know I follow you on Instagram, and
I don't know. I'm not a big fan of people who, especially. Okay, so I mean, I guess this has to do with our age, but I'm not a big fan of people that constantly post. And this is just me personally, my personal opinion of people who constantly post pictures of themselves or updates about themselves multiple times a day. I know what you look like. You haven't done it since yesterday. And I can't even say that I'm not guilty of that because I do it. However, I usually do it because I'm modeling some type of clothing that I just purchased. It's not really always my base.
right.
Yeah.
If you could work for any person in the world, who would it be, and what job would you want?
Oh. What did I feel like Joe Biden's personal assistant. I'm just going to keep going back to these answers.
What's the infatuation with Joe Biden? Obviously,
You know what?
I'm a big fan, but what's your love?
I think it started years ago when all the memes started coming out, like a while early memes of Joe Biden. I don't know. I just always loved him. And the funny thing is I I consider myself more. I don't really consider myself into politics at all. I don't like to talk about it. I'm very middle of the road. I'm more of a fiscal conservative, um, but kind of lean a little bit more towards socially being a little bit more liberal, but still middle of the road. I don't really like to have a lot of opinion on it because I don't know a lot of information. But I always loved Joe Biden. There's something about him, um, and I had the opportunity to meet him this year, and he's as nice as the nicest man in the world, and I just adore him.
Do you think he should be the next president of the United States?
I would love that. I would absolutely vote for him. However, I'm not sure. He did speak about that, and I'm not sure he's ready to do that. I think he's still kind of mourning the loss of his son.
Mm-hmm.
I would absolutely love it if he did.
If you were hosting this podcast, what is a question that you would want to ask other 40-year-olds?
Um, what I guess I'd like to know what makes them tick, what goes through their mind on a daily basis, and how they think differently from what they did when they were younger. Similar to what you asked.
How do you think differently from when you were younger?
I don't care what people think of me anymore. I don't know. I think it's a big thing, and it's so sad nowadays with all this pressure of social media and making sure that everything has to be perfect, the perfect look, the perfect this. But I don't care. This is what you see is what you get.
Now that you have experience as a parent, what is something that your parents or parent did really well?
Discipline. So I am such a pushover. I thought I was going to be this strict, disciplinary parent who didn't let my children get away with it, but I am such a sucker for them, and it's terrible. And I wish I wasn't because my parents weren't at all. And I love them to pieces. I think we need it, and I need to do a better job at that. And they were so good at it. I'm just so terrible at it.
It's tough. It's tough. I mean, your kids are a little older than mine, but it's hard.
It is so. It is so. hard. And you know what? If you could, just nip it in the bud now, because I can tell you, it does not get easier when they get older.
I would not say that I'm doing any nipping at this point with my 4-year-old. My 1.5-year-old, he's still under wraps, sort of. We're down to our last question here, which is the same for everyone. You chose a song that is going to play us out of here on the podcast. What song did you choose, and why? And why is it not a Phil Collins song?
You know what? I was going to, but then I said, this song is perfect. I chose Tom Petty, American Girl. And I think it kind of sums up me. I'm an American girl. And I'll be honest, I saw Tom Petty live 3 times, and it was his last song that he sang at his last concert in Connecticut. And kind of, tugs on little heartstrings because, he's no longer with us. But love his music, love that song, and I think it's perfect. Perfectly sums up me.
Awesome. American Girl, Nicole Bogert, thank you for joining us. Where can people find you? You said you make a lot of friends on the internet, yeah. So there could be more coming your way. So yeah, where can we check you out?
I am just going to send you to Instagram. You could find me at nicole.bogert. That's my Instagram handle.
That's Bogert, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Nicole. Appreciate your time today.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Thanks, everyone, for joining us on the latest episode of Past the 40 with Nicole Bogert. See you soon.